like anyway for the level 2, you don't have to read all this transaction book, the control book again, like, okay, I have to read all this book that I have passed the exam. No, you don't have to do it. So all you need to do, you have your Synoptic question bank, you have to practice from the Synoptic question bank. If you are happy with the Synoptic question bank, if you think, oh, I remember everything, so there is nothing to worry. But obviously, if you need to revise, if you think I want to go back to the book for a specific chapter or for a specific topic, you can always go back and do that. So the best way you can make yourself ready for the Synoptic, you quickly first decide what you need to know, and after that you start practicing, and more you practice, you will be more confident for the exam. Now we are moving to one of the Synoptic question, and we want to see what type of question we're going to see in the exam. So this is one of the question you can see on the screen. It says level 2 Synoptic assessment, and it says AAT sample assessment 1. That means if you log in to your AAT MyAT account, you're going to see this question from there. We're going to read one by one from here, and we'll see what type of question we can expect in the exam. So let's have a look the first page here. They said AAT sample assessment, time allowed 2 hours. So we have 2 hours to complete this exam. So that should be fine. And only, I think, 7 tasks we have to answer. It's not too many questions. Only 7 questions we have to answer in the exam. So let's have a quickly look. Level 2 Synoptic assessment, AAT sample assessment 1. So we'll have a scenario, and based on the scenario, we have to say what to do, how to do, and if there are any question we have to write, we have to write. So this exam will be the combination of both. It's not only like MCQ type, it's not only like multiple choice. You have to write something, so you need to make sure your spelling is good, you don't write the your grammar is good. So when you write, it's not going to be much, but you have to write little bit for this paper, for the Synoptic. So let's have a look the task 1 for the 12 marks we have. So we can start with that. Yeah, so I can show you a little bit first, like how many questions we have. We have task 1 for 12 marks. Then we have it's quite big, long question anyway, but it's not going to be hard, I'm sure. Task 2, we have a 12 marks. Then we have task 3 for 12 marks. And we have a task 4 that is for 16 marks. Then we have task 5 that is for 12 marks. And we have a task 6 that is for 24 marks. That's quite important area. So we have a 24 marks from there. And task 7, we have a 12 marks. This is the end of the question. We'll have 7 tasks in the exam. So you can see it's not like too many questions, but the question can be a little bit long. And as long as you understand the question, we know what to do, should not be any issues. But all we need a little bit practice. More you practice, we'll be more confident in the exam. So let's have a look. The first question we have. The first question we have here, that's from the AAT sample assessment 1. So let's read this question. The scenario is saying the tasks are set in a business situation where the following condition apply. You are employed as an accountant assistant in the finance function at SCM product. So basically, I am working somewhere as an assistant accountant, as an employee. So it's not my business. I'm not in a practice. So it's very important to understand the scenario, because sometimes your answer will be based on the scenario. For example, if they said, oh, you are in a practice, that means you don't have any supervisor, you don't have any boss. So you are the boss. And if you need to inform someone regarding anything, you have to go through, we have to go through some different steps. For example, if you see your client is involved with the money laundering, if you are in a organization, or if you are in industry, you have to report to MLRO, that is money laundering reporting officer. But if you are working in a practice, you don't have anyone. So because you are work for yourself, you are sole trader, in that case you have to report to NCA, that is National Crime Agency. So it's very important to understand the scenario. So you are employed as an assistant accountant in the finance function at SMC product. Then we have the finance function include the financial and the management accounting team. So in the finance function, it includes both the financial and the management accounting team. So the finance team and the management team both work in this function. SCM product use a manual bookkeeping system, so they use the manual bookkeeping system. The reason they're asking you, telling you this thing using the manual bookkeeping system, they want you to understand more. So manual bookkeeping system is the system where the software don't do something automatically. For example, nowadays there is a lot of software we have like QuickBook, Zero. They do so many things automatically. For example, if you do your journal, the software will prepare the ledger, the trial balance, and the profit and loss account and the balance sheet automatically. So you just prepare one thing, the rest of the thing will be done automatically. So but for this company SCM, they don't have anything automated, so they do everything manually, the bookkeeping system. Then the double entry take place in the general ledger. Individual account of trade receivables and trade payable are kept in the sales and the purchase ledger as a subsidiary account. So we have the two things, we already know that, the purchase ledger control and the sales ledger control. So purchase ledger control and the sales ledger control both are general ledger because it represent the total balance. But on the other hand, purchase ledger and the sales ledger, these two are subsidiary ledger and they represent only individual customer or supplier. Okay, then we have the cash book and the petty cash book should be treated as a part of the double entry system unless the question instruction. So if the question don't say it is a book of prime entry, so petty cash and the cash book always treat as a part of double entry system. So double entry system means we record the petty cash and in the cash book by using the journal, that means debit and credit. So double entry means double debit and credit. Double entry means two entry, debit and credit. The VAT rate is 20%. So the reason they are saying at the beginning the VAT rate is 20% because at the end of the question, obviously, any part of the question, if we see there is no VAT rate, we have to understand the VAT rate is 20% because it is fixed. All right, let's move on to one of the question now and let's have a look. Okay, so we have a task 1 for 12 marks. So let's have a look what we have here. You work from 9 to 2. You work from 9 to 2. So the job start from 9 o'clock and finish at 2 p.m. Monday to Friday each week. So each week we work 9 to 2 Monday to Friday. Each finance period is 4 weeks in duration, so you plan your work in 4-week cycle. So a lot of company they do that. Rather than they're saying monthly, they said in 4 weeks time. So you calculate or you make your plan based on the weekly, and obviously every month we count 4 week. So the work schedule below show the days when routine task must be completed and the amount of time each task take to complete. It is very important that you complete management account task by end of the identified day and the financial accounts task by the end by the day and the time indicated. So they are saying it is very important you have to finish the work on time. So the time they give it to you, you have to finish the work by this time and by that day. Okay, so we have a two type of work. They said one is the financial side, one is the management side, and both tasks take place on this division. So maybe I have to perform for both tasks. So let's have a look. The first one, it says monthly work schedule for the management account. So we have a management account first. So let's have a look what we have for the management accounts. So we can see here week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, because they said we have 4 weeks. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So week 1, we can see Monday we do this material cost report. Tuesday we have nothing. Then Wednesday we have material cost report. Thursday we have budget report. And Friday we have product cost analysis. It is not very important for me what I do. For me, the important thing is how many hours I spend for what. How many hours I spend on which day. It's very important to remember that, because the question gives some clue and we have to find the answer from every single clue. Then we have a work 2, work 3, work 4 the same way. Then we move to the next section, what we have for the finance. Now we can see here they said for the finance, weekly work schedule for financial accountant, tasks to be complete each week by. By means I have to finish by this time. For example, if I said 1 o'clock, that means my job will not start 1 o'clock. My job will be finished by 1 o'clock. So task duration, I have 1 hour, 2 or 3 hour, whatever it is. So how long it takes? So they said that, but I have to finish by this time. Okay, so let's have a look. On Friday, what I do? On Friday, I do reconcile statement. So I reconcile this statement on Friday, and I have to finish by 1 o'clock. And how much time I have spent to do that? 1 hour. Then contact customer Thursday. Thursday, contact customer. I finish by 1 o'clock and I spend 2 hours. That means if I start 11, I finish at 1. Process invoice. I do that on Friday and I finish by 11. That means I start at 10, I finish by 11 because I spend 1 hour. Then post checks. I do it every day. And I finish by 12. That means I start at 11, so 11 to 12, I do 1 hour post check. So if the question said any day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, if question gave me any day, I understand what 11 to 12 I have to post a check. Then contact supplier, that one I do on Monday for 1 hour, 10 to 11, I do contact supplier. Then departmental report. The departmental report I do Wednesday for 1 hour. So that means I start at 11, I finish at 12. Then departmental charges I do Tuesday and I finish by 12. So 2 hours, that means I do it 10 to 12, 2 hours. So this is my financial accounting work schedule. Now I need to know what is the question here. So let's have a look. What is the question here? So you are planning your work at the start of the day on Friday. Okay, so they said for Friday, specific for the Friday. All right. Of week 4, week number 4. So you're only looking for week number 4. You have been asked to complete a non-routine cash book task by 10 a.m. So they ask you to do a work that is non-routine. So this is not on your plan. That is not on your schedule. They ask you to complete a work by 10 a.m. for the cash book. So that means you start at 9 and you finish by 10 for the cash book, which is already included on your to-do list. So what you will do, this one is already included. That's fine. Now the requirement here is complete your to-do list for today, that means Friday of week number 4. Refer to the management and the financial accounts schedule and drag the tasks to be completed into the to-do list below. All right, you may drag each task into the to-do list more than once if you need. If we need, we can do that. All right, so let's have a look. What is the to-do list we have here? So this is the to-do list we have. All right, so let's write it down here on the corner so that when we do the question, we can still see it. So I said Friday, week number 4, and the time. So I'm writing the cash book that is 9 to 10 is already here. Then I have a time 10 to 11. Then I have 11 to 12. Then I have 12 to 1. Then I have 1 to 2. I need to tell what I do on what time. All right, so let's move on. Let's go back to the question. Now I'll see what I do on what time. So I have both thing management and the financial. On the management, I can see week number 4 and Friday, I do only cost coding 1 hour. This is the only thing I do for the management side. And for the financial side, I can see I do a lot of thing on Friday. So let's have a look what we do on Friday on from the financial side. So let's start with the first one. The first one we can see 9 to 10 is done already. They said it's non-routine work. That's for the cash book. The next thing we're going to see what we do from 10 to 11. So we'll look for from here from our financial side and we'll see what we do 10 to 11. So we have a look the Friday first. So on the Friday we can see I have a 1 Friday, I have a 2 Friday, I have every day that I have to consider. That's it. So 10 to 11. So they said finish by 11. This one finish by 11. Finish by 11 means 1 hour. So that means 10 to 11. Finish by 11. Finish by 11. I have to finish by 11 by 1 hour. So that means I start at 10, finish at 12. And what I do on Friday, process invoice. I said, okay, 10 to 11, I do process invoice. So process invoice, I do 10 to 11. So this one is done. Number 2, 11 to 12. What I do 11 to 12. The next one, they said post check, finish by 12. That means finish by 12 means 11 to 12, 1 hour. I do post check. So I'm going to write post check because post check is 11 to 12. All right, this is also done. Then the next one I have 12 to 1. So this one I finish by 1 hour. So I start at 12, finish by 1. What I do? Reconcile statement. I said, all right, reconcile statement. And the last 1 hour, I have nothing here for the finance, but I can see on week number 4, for the management, I have 1 hour coding. So cost coding, I said, okay, the last 1 hour I do cost coding. So that's how we can complete our to-do list. I said, all right, so it's not very difficult just to identify what time we do what. Okay, so let's move on and have a look what we have the next question. The next question we have here, you are often asked to complete non-routine tasks. However, on one day in each 4-week cycle, you are too busy with routine tasks to accept non-routine tasks. They're saying like they give you always non-routine tasks, but one day in a week you are very busy, you cannot take any non-routine task. So identify on which day in which week you are more busy and you cannot take any non-routine tasks. So they're basically asking out of the 4 week, which week is more busy and which day is the more busiest day for you. So it says day of the week and week number. So it's not going to be difficult to find because I can see which day I work more. So if I see like, okay, Friday I work 5 hours, Then Thursday I work 4 hours. Saturday, Monday I work 7 hours. So Monday is the busiest day. So I'll add it, the total hours that I work an individual day. I have to see which day I work more hours. So that's my busiest day. So let's have a look. Let's look at the Friday first. On Friday, I work 1 hour. So 1, I'll write it down 1 plus. Then Friday, I have 1 hour. So 2. Then I have every day 1 hour. So it's plus 1, 3. Then that's it. So 3 for the financial. And for the management, let's see how many hours I work for the management. So for the management, Friday, I work only 1 hour. All the Friday, I work only 1 hour. So on Friday, I work only 4 hours total. Now I can move to the any other day. So let's check the Thursday, how many hours I work. But from here, I can have a clue. Only I work 2 hours for the Thursday and the Tuesday. This is the 2 days I can see. That takes me long. Maybe this too will be one of the indication like which day I work more. But let's check the Thursday. So that's my Friday. On the Thursday, I can see I work 2 hours. So 2 hours plus every day 1 hour. That means it is already scheduled. So 3. And then that's it for Thursday. And I'm going back to the management accounting. And I can see on the management account, I'm working 1 hour here. So 1. So it gives me, so Thursday, every day. Okay, and 1. But I need to see, is there any other week? Because they said which week as well. So let's have a look. Is there any week I work more than 1 hour? And I can see Thursday. Yeah, Thursday, week number 1, I work 2 hours. So I said 2. So that gives me 5 hours. So on Thursday, week number 1, I work 5 hours. Let's look at the other week, other day. So we have a then Thursday, Friday, we have a Monday. On Monday, I can see only I work 1 hour for the finance, and for the management, I work 2 any of the week. This week, any week I choose. So only 2. So 2 plus 1 is 3, plus every day 1. So it's 4 hours. So still it's not more than 5. Then Wednesday, I work 1 hour here, and 2 hours the maximum for the management. So 3 plus 1 every day. So 4 hours. So 4 hours is the maximum for Wednesday I work. And the Tuesday I can see 2 hours I work. This is more. So 2 hours for the financial. 2 plus every day 1 hour. So that is 3. But on Tuesday I work 1 hour only for the management. This is 4. So we can see the Thursday is the busiest day for me. Only the Thursday I work 5 hours. And which week? We can see week number 1. Because only week number 1 I work 2 hours. Other than I just work only 1 hours. So I said, okay, I find it out. So only Thursday I work 5 hours. So the day of the week, I would say Thursday. So THRUS Thursday, and week number 1. Week number 1. It's not a difficult question, but a little bit tricky. We have to spend some time so that we can identify the right one. All right, let's move to the next one. The next one we have for the cash book. Now let's have a look. What is the cash book? Now cash book, you already know. The cash book, we have a 2 side. We have a debit side and we have a credit side. Now the debit side is all about money in. Debit side is all about money in. So for any reason, money coming to the business, we record to the cash book debit side. For any reason, money going out from the business, that is our cash book credit side. So money out. For any reason, if we pay to anyone, that's cash book credit side, money in, cash book debit side. So let's have a look. What is the requirement? what will be the cash and bank balance carried down? Balance carried down means balance CD. Balance carried down means balance CD, and we already know that. Balance carried down means balance CD. And how do you do that? It's not very difficult. You already know. We added the higher side minus the lower side, and that gave us balance CD or BD. So we have to add the higher side. Look at the cash first. It said cash balance carried down. So we're looking for the cash first. Cash and cash. That's my debit side, and that's my credit side. So it looked like debit side is higher because it's only 1110. So I said 1110 minus the credit side is 850. So 850. So that gives me the balance. So 1110 minus 850, and that gives me 260. 260 is the balance CD. And the balance CD will be always on the shortest side because we recorded the balance CD in order to make the balance. So this side is a higher. So my balance CD will be on this side, on the credit side. So I'm going to say the amount is 260 and the balance CD will be on the credit side because credit side is lower. On the other hand, look at the bank now. So bank balance carried down. So let's have a look, the bank balance carried down. So we have the bank balance. So we have this is look like the credit side is higher on the bank and the debit side is lower. So you have, if we added all of this, so let's have a look how much it is. So 6542 plus 1365 plus 396 plus 234. So that gives me 8537. That's my total bank total, and that's my credit side. And on the debit side, we have the bank, that is 2150 plus 1525 plus 850, and that gives me 4525. 4525, and that's my debit balance. So you can see my credit is higher than the debit. So it's a very easily understand. Debit is lower, so the balance CD will be on the debit side. So to find the difference, 8537 minus 4525, and that gives me 4012. And the balance CD will be definitely on the debit side because debit side is the lower. So I'm going to write 4012, and that's my debit. So this is very easy. All you need to see which side is the higher, and we minus the lower side due to the balance CDBD. And the balancing of thing is not new for us. We already done so many times in the transaction paper. The next one we have D. What will be the total of the cash and the bank column once the balance has been inserted? So they said how much will be the total cash column. We already done it. So total cash column, the higher side will be 1110 because this side is lower. So I'm going to write 1110. That will be my higher side. And the bank total, that will be the higher side. That is 8537. 8537. That's it. That's quite easy for 2 marks. Just find the higher side. Remember, if the question said the cash total, bank total, they mean like which side is the higher, because we always take the higher side, we record it on the both side, we minus the shortest side to find the balance CD. All right, that's not very difficult question. So let's have a look. Is there any more thing? Now we have a task number 2 now. The task 2 we have here, this is for 12 marks. Now this 12 marks is kind of, I would say it's like more theoretical question, and that's from our finance paper from the level 2. So let's read this question first. So we have SCM product has recruited Simon, who has recently left school, to work in the finance function as a trainee. In his first year, Simon will spend time helping you with general tasks such as postal duties, photocopies, filing, and he will also work with the cashier and the management accounting and financial accounting team. As Simon is due to start work next week, you have been asked to provide some notes to help him settle into his roles. You have decided to begin the note with the main role for the finance function. So we have to know what is the main role for the finance function. Now the main role for the finance function will be relevant to the finance. It's nothing new, but if you quickly revise your finance paper once again, you'll be more clear, but I'm sure it's not very difficult just to remember what is the role for the finance. So they are saying here, from the list below, identify the four main roles of the finance function at SCM product by dragging them into your note. So from the here, I have to drag four. So let's have a look which one relevant to the finance. The first one we have ensuring the security of the financial data. That's definitely one. So we said ensuring the security of the production financial data. So this is number one. We'll take it. They ask to find four. So obviously, like if I'm working in the finance sector, I have to make sure I know how to secure the data. So I'm not gonna work somewhere where the data may be like misplaced or data may be shared by someone, and that could create a trouble for me. So I have to make sure. So I will tell someone, if someone said I want to work in the finance department, I'll tell them, listen, make sure the data is confidential, make sure it's not shared by anyone. So we have to make sure ensuring the security of the financial data. So this is number one, very important. The next thing, what finance department do, manage the fund effectively. So for example, we have a money, what is the best way to utilize this money? So it says managing the fund effectively. So this is number two, managing the fund effectively. Then obviously the next job the finance department do, that is prepare the financial statement. This is the difference between the financial accounting and the management accountant. Financial accountant, they prepare the financial statement, that is profit and loss account and the balance sheet, and after that they submit it to HMRC and the company house. But on the other hand, the management accountant, what they do, they prepare the budget, they prepare the internal report for only for the internal purpose. But the financial accountant, they prepare everything for the external purpose. So as a financial accountant, as a financial department, we need to make sure we prepare the statutory financial statement that is required by law. So every single company, they have to prepare financial statement and need to submit to HMRC to see how much is the tax, how much is the income expense, all of this. And this is a responsibility by the finance department. So we'll see, we also prepare statutory financial statement, number three. And the last one we do, providing accounting information to other internal department. So if we need to give any information to any other internal department, for example, the payroll department, the pension department, for example, the production department, if they need an internal information from us, the accounting information from us as a finance department, we have to give, but it has to be internally. So fourth thing I'm going to tell the new employee, like you have to make sure to ensuring the data, we have to know how we manage the fund effectively, and we produce the financial statement from here, and we share the information with all the other department if they need an accounting information. So all of these things will be the main role of the financial function. This question is mainly for the theoretical page. So let's move to the next one. There is no calculation here. So if you remember that, that will be absolutely fine. The next one we have here, it is Simon first week and you are helping with his induction into the organization. You have been asked to highlight importance policy and procedure on SCM product internal internet, and Simon should familiar with himself with it. So obviously, like if you the day you give the induction to the new employee, you explain everything like this is that, this is this, this is this, and after that you want like you have to focus on this. Now the company have a policy like to make sure that person will be familiar with the product internet that the company want he should be familiar with. Okay, let's have a look. What is the requirement here? They said from the list below, identify four policy or procedure Simon should familiarize himself with by dragging them into your notes. So policy and procedure. So policy and procedure is the companies like the way the company run their business. So company to company, it could be vary. One company have one policy, another company can have another policy. For example, some company have a policy you have to be in the office before 15 minutes and you have to leave after 5 minutes of your office time. Some company have a policy you have to wear some sort of dress code. So every company have a different policy. So let's have a look. What is the policy, is the main policy and procedure the company have. So as an employee, obviously you have to know the holiday entitlement policy. It's very important. So for example, if how many employee work for your company, so you need to know like how you pay the holiday. Now the holiday entitlement policy means like, are you paying holiday on pro rata basis? That means like number of working hour you calculate the holiday, or you pay the holiday based on how many days they work, or the holiday is fixed. So you have to familiar with that. This is one of the policy every company have, the holiday policy. Then we have research development. No, this is like the budgeted thing, research and development, product grabbing procedure. No, this is not the finance department function. Petty cash, yes, petty cash claim procedure. This one is done by the finance department. So how to claim the petty cash? So for example, if someone said, I spent £20 for the tea and coffee, so what is the procedure you can pay? So is it like, is there an authorization policy? For example, if the amount is more than £100, it has to be signed by the department manager. If it is more than £1,000, it has to be signed by the director. So what is the policy? You have to know that. Then we have a staff development policy. So this one also important. So how you can develop this staff. So what is the staff development policy? You have to know this one as well. And we have what else we have? Checking bank procedure. No, this not that. So we have staff development policy and checking, yeah, checking the banking procedure. Obviously, this is also job by the finance department. So we have holiday, we have petty cash, and then we have staff development, and we have check banking procedure, because as a finance staff we have to know how the banking procedure work. So for example, let's say, are you going to deposit a check, or someone come to your business to collect the money? And obviously, like, what is the company procedure? Every company have a different procedure. So obviously, as a finance staff, this is relevant to us. We need to know this thing. This question is mainly just to know the role, and if you read your chapters from the finance paper, you'll be absolutely fine. But obviously, if you remember that, there is no issues, because it's just like kind of the information. There is nothing trick here. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. The next one says, Simon has been working with you for a few weeks now, and you are aware of some concern in relation to his performance. During meetings, Simon appears uninterested and does not participate. There have also been instances of Simon misunderstanding instruction and not meeting the deadline. You decide to help Simon develop the skills which are important in his role. So basically, he's not learning the way he's supposed to. So you are planning to help him so that he can improve more. Identify four ways Simon could develop the necessary skill to help him in his role. Okay, so let's find the four way we can help him to develop the skill. Input the speaker to ask the question during the meeting. That's not nice. When a person speak, you are not allowed to talk during this time. So we said not this one. Make eye contact with the speaker is very important. When the speaker talk, you need to make sure you look at the eyes and you have eye contact. You don't show like you are not concentrating, because when you have eye contact, the speaker feel like you are concentrating. That's very important. Wait until the person speaking has finished before asking any question. So you have to wait like until the person is talking, And after that, you ask the question, because if you keep asking in the middle, the way he had a plan to do, maybe it's not going to be possible, and that will maybe distraction like on the way he want to present something. So you wait until he finished, and you basically ask any question you have. Cough loudly. No, we don't have to worry. We don't have to read that. We're not going to cough loudly. Complete work tasks at your own place. No, we don't want to complete our work on our own place. We cannot say like, oh, I want to do it from home. It's not going to work. Then discuss a difficulty in the meeting deadline with your supervisor at the earliest opportunity. That's true. You need to tell your supervisor if you think you cannot finish the deadline, the work by deadline. You don't just wait until the last and you said, oh, I cannot do it. So it's not going to work. You have to make sure you discuss the thing with your supervisor before the deadline. Then we have complete the work task as quickly as possible, relying on your supervisor to check accuracy to work. No, that's not true. Cannot do just anything and you feel like, oh, my supervisor will check anyway, so I'll do the mistake. No, it's not going to work. You have to do your work with like accuracy. Ask as many questions as you need until you fully understand what are being asked to do. That's true. Until you get clear, don't just shake your head, yes, I understand. No, you have to make sure like you understand everything and keep asking the question until you fully clear for that. Otherwise you end up with the wrong thing, isn't it? If you don't understand properly, you will give the wrong report, the wrong work, so that will not be helpful for the company. So this is the 4 way we can develop the necessary skill for him. So this is the end of the question number 2. Now I'll move to question number 3. Task number 3 for the 12 marks. So this 12 marks question from the Synoptic paper. So let's have a look. Says SCM product has supplied goods to Peepers Limited. Okay, so Peepers Limited is the customer and SCM is the supplier. Remember, on the invoice, the supplier name always on the top. The supplier name is always there. Supply name is always there, and the customer is on the left corner. This is the customer. Okay, so let's have a look. What is the question here? It says you have been asked to complete the invoice by calculating the invoice amount. So they give us some information. They ask us to complete the invoice, and we know how to do it. It's not very difficult. Refer to the price list and complete the 4 boxes in the invoice below. Okay, refer to the price list and complete the 4 boxes in the below. All right, so let's have a look. We have a price unit, we have a net amount, we have a VAT amount, and we have a total. Now price each means each unit. How much is the cost for each unit? Net amount means without VAT. So without VAT. So without VAT, how much is the amount? VAT amount means how much is the VAT? That is the 20%. And total amount means net plus VAT. Net plus VAT. So if I added net plus the VAT, that will be the total. So let's have a look. This question we have here. So they give us some information. So let's try to complete the invoice. So price each. So we need to find what is the product code. The product code is a BXC20. So from the product code, we need to find where is the BXC20. We can see here BXC20, and each product cost is £3.85. So you're going to write £3.85. This is the cost of each. Then they said the net. How we get the net? The net will tell us how many product I'm going to buy. So the unit quantity, I can see 120. So I said 120 times £3.85. So that gives me 120 times 3.85. That gives me 462. 462 is the net. 462. Then the VAT. VAT is 20%. So I'll just say 20% of the VAT. 20% of the VAT. So times 20%, that gives me VAT 92.40. So the VAT is 92.40, and the total means net plus VAT. So I plus it, the VAT, and that gives me total 554.40. 554.40. So 554.40. That's it. So that's my completing the invoice. It's really easy. It's not very tricky. So you need to find the product code, how much is each. So we multiply with the unit, that gives me net, add the 20%, that gives me VAT, and with the VAT we add the net, that gives me total. That's quite simple. Let's move on to the next requirement. What is the next requirement we have? The next requirement we have here, your next task is to enter the invoice into the appropriate daybook. Select which daybook you're going to use. Of course, if I send an invoice to the customer, I'm going to record on the sales daybook, isn't it? If I sell something to customer and if I send the invoice to them, so that's my credit sale. So I'm going to record on the sales daybook. Sales daybook. Sales daybook. And they said to complete this box. This is a sales daybook. Complete the sales daybook. My customer name was Peepers Limited. That's me, SCM. I'm not going to write my name on my book. So I'm going to write Peepers Limited. Peepers Limited. And the account code that are we going to write? This is the account code from the question. They already give it to us. PEP003. And the amount, we already calculated the amount. 554.40. The VAT 92.40, and the net 460. This is just we calculated before. Everything we just copied it. All right, let's move to the next one. The next one we have for the prom discount. We also know what is the prom discount. It's nothing new to us. So let's move it. So they are saying SCM product is considering offering a customer 2.5% prompt payment discount for the payment within 5 days of the invoice. So if the customer can pay us within 5 days, we're going to pay prompt discount 2.5%. All right, calculate the amount that would be paid by People Limited if a 2.5% prompt discount is taken, was offered in the invoice, and the invoice is paid within 5 days. So what happens if the customer choose to pay within 5 days and take the discounts? They will pay me 2.5% less, isn't it? So from the 554.40, they're not going to pay the whole. They'll pay me 2.5% less. You can minus from here 2.5%, how much it is. But the way I do, I multiply with the percentage. So I multiply with 97.5%. Because I said if I don't get 2.5%, I will get 97.5%, isn't it? So it's a give you the same thing. Either you can minus 2.5% from the 55440, or you can do straight away 554.40 times 97.5%. It will save some time for you because it's quicker. So that will give you 540.54. And the next one is says number D, what is the latest date by which SCM product should receive the payment from People Limited? So the invoice date we need to see what was the invoice date. So let's have a look what is the invoice date. From there I have 5 days. The invoice date was 15th of May. So from 15th of May I have 5 days to make the payment in order to get the discount. So 15th of May plus 5 days, so that will give you 20th of May. So I'm going to choose from here 20th of May. I said the invoice date was 15th of May. From there I have 5 days to pay. So that gives me the last date for me to make the payment 20th of May. That's it. That's not very difficult question. So that's quite straightforward. This is the end of the question number 3. Now we can move to question number 4. So the task number 4 is for the 16 marks question. Let's have a look what we have here. So we can see here, says you are working on the sales and the purchase ledger control account at the end of the June. So I'm working on sales and the purchase ledger. So sales and the purchase ledger control account. So that means these are general ledger. Sales ledger and the purchase ledger control account is the total balance. So all this credit customer or all this credit supplier are here. The debit entries in the sales ledger control account total is this. So on the debit side, on our sales ledger control, so on the sales ledger control, the debit side total is 219,476, and the credit side is a total 197,823. So sales ledger control, debit side 219 and the credit side is 197. Calculate the amount balance brought down. So opening balance, how much will be the opening balance on 1st of July? That's just the difference, isn't it? So this is just the difference. 219 is the debit balance. So obviously 219,476 minus 197,823. That gives me the difference of 21,653. So that's my balance CD. That's my balance CD. I'm going to record here on the other side. Balance CD, that is 21,653. And that will give me the total same 21,9,476. 21,9,476. And this balance CD will come as a balance BD here, the same amount, 21,653. So that's very simple. 21,653. So whatever is the balance CD is the balance BD. So if I am in the June, that means balance CD will be the last day of the June, 30th of June, and balance BD will be the opening balance. That will be the first day of the next month. So balance CD is the last day of the month. Balance BD is the first day of the next month. Okay, so that's quite simple. It's not very difficult. Let's read the next one. The next one is saying you now need to reconcile the sales ledger control account with the sales ledger. So sales ledger means the individual balance. So that means customer A, customer B, customer C, customer D. So if I added all the individual customer balance, that should actually match with the sales ledger control, the total balance. So total balance should match with the individual balance. You have already totaled the balance of each account in the sales ledger and recorded in total 19,812. But you have just discovered that you omitted balances from the sales ledger. So this is my total sales ledger. Don't mix it up with the sales ledger and the sales ledger control. These two are completely two things. Sales ledger is representing only one customer. It's like the subsidiary ledger. But the sales ledger control is the general ledger. It represents all the credit customer. So they are saying after adding all my sales ledger, the total balance become 19,812. But after that, I found I missed two balance. Copal Limited, so I have missed two customer, and Sophie Hunt. Copal Limited and Sophie Hunt. So I have missed two of the customer. So what I'll do, now I'm going to adjust this to, this is the debit side. So if it is on the debit side, I will add. If the sales ledger on the debit side, that means my asset will be increasing because I have a more credit customer. I'm expecting more money from the customer. So my previous balance was 19,812. Now I'm expecting 1746 more because I missed this one. And balance on the credit side means I have to minus because this customer overpaid, or for any reason, for some reason, I have to pay this customer. So I'm going to minus it, 312. So I'm going to say 19,812 plus 1746 and minus 312. That gives me 21,246. So that will be the 21,246. So after adjusting this to balance, so I'm going to add this one and minus that. Sales ledger normally is a debit balance. If there's a debit, it will be increased. If there's a credit, it will be minus. All right, the next one we have, number C is asking, okay, what if the difference between the balance on the sales ledger control you have calculated in A and the total on the sales ledger balance you have calculated B? So how much is the difference? That's quite simple, isn't it? So what we have calculated on A, so on the A we have a balance that was 21,653, and for the B we had 21,246. So they said how much is the difference between these two? The difference between the sales ledger and the sales ledger control. Between sales ledger control, calculate A, and the sales ledger. So the difference between these two is 407. Let me check. 246 minus 21,653. Yeah, 407. So we're going to say the difference is 407. 407. All right, the next one we have number D. Let's have a look what we have in number D. That's a theory question. And number D is saying identify which one of the reason below could explain the difference. So why the sales ledger and the sales ledger control is not matching. If the question asks this type of question, we have to find the reason, and this is quite difficult. So I advise all my students always to answer this question later on. If you can do it very fast, if you find it out the answer, that's fine, but don't spend too much time for that. It's only 1 marks question, but it could be tricky. So we have to find the reason. Now from the last question we can see our sales ledger was sales ledger balance was 21,246 and the sales ledger control balance was 21,653. So sales ledger control, it was 21,653 and the sales ledger was 21,246. That was the difference, 407. Now we have to find the reason. The question is why it is not matching, why the difference? So either we have to find the reason. For that reason, my sales ledger control balance will go down. It will come down to 21,246. Or we have to find a reason that will increase the sales ledger balance and it's become 21,653. So either I have to increase the sales ledger balance so it's become exactly match with the sales ledger control, or I have to down my sales ledger control so it's match with the sales ledger. So I need to find a reason for that. Let's have a look what is the reason here. So irrecoverable debt write-off twice in the sales ledger control. No, that's not a reason. Goods sold were recorded twice in the sales ledger. No, my sales ledger is already lower. If I do that, it will be more lower. Good return were recorded twice in the sales ledger control account. No, this is already higher. If I do that, that will be more higher. Discount allowed were recorded twice in the sales ledger. That could be the reason. And that's the reason it could be lower. I can show you why this is the reason. So let's say this is my sales ledger. Let's say the opening balance is 100 and we have nothing here, so balance sheet is 100. Now let's say we have a discount allowed 10. Discount allowed 10. If discount allowed is 10 here, so my balance sheet will be 90. Is going down, isn't it? If I said another discount allowed 10, so my balance sheet will be 80. So if later on I found there was only one discount allowed, but mistakenly I said there is two discount allowed, so I wrote twice. So if I cut one, so my balance sheet will be increased from 80 to 90, isn't it? So the balance sheet will go up. That means sales ledger balance will go up. So if it is go up, maybe it will be matched. So this is the possible reason. So you have to check with every single thing. As I said, like you have to spend some time to find the reason. On your bookkeeping control paper, you have this thing, you have a lot of reason. If you forget already this thing, you can go back and always check this thing. All right, so let's move on to the next one we have. Your next task is to prepare purchase ledger control account. Okay, the purchase ledger control account is not difficult. So you have been given the total of the purchase return, and the discount received. So you have a 3 book. So we have a purchase day book, purchase return day book, and discount received day book. So let's write it down, this one. Purchase ledger control, debit side and the credit side. Purchase ledger control is normally a credit balance because it's a supplier account. How much money I have to pay to my supplier, this represent from this purchase ledger control account is the total balance. How much is total outstanding to the credit supplier? So the purchase day book is represent how much is the purchase, and obviously like the sales day book represent the return day book is the return, and all this. Let's have a look. What is the requirement? The requirement is what will be the entry in the purchase ledger account. Okay, so we can do in the T account. After that, we can check from there. So we can say here we have the total. We always take the total. Remember that. 23,454. That will be the credit, is the opening balance. So from the purchase day book, the total purchase day book total represent how much is the total outstanding to the supplier. So if I need to pay 23,454 pound to the credit supplier, that's my liability because I have to pay. So I say the credit. So that's a purchase. Purchase, that is 23,454. Then we have a purchase return. So purchase return will reduce my liability because if I return something to my supplier, I'm not going to pay for that, isn't it? So I'm going to say 2898 I return. I'm not going to pay for that. That's purchase return. So 2898. Then we have a discount received. If I receive a discount from my supplier, I'm not going to pay for that. So discount received is also reduce my liability. That is 768. That's it. And after that, normally I find the balance CD and BD. I make a total, find the balance CD and BD, how much I still need to pay. But the question, they didn't ask for the balance CD BD. They're just asking where it will go. So let's write it down. So we will say here, what will be the entry in the purchase ledger control account? So we have entry from the purchase day book. So entry from the purchase day book, that will go to the credit side. That is 23,454. That is credit, is a liability. Entry from the purchase return day book, that will come to the debit side because that will reduce my liability, 2898. And a discount received. If I receive a discount, I'm going to pay less money, so that will also reduce my liability. That's also debit. All right, so let's move to the next one. What is the next one we have? The next one we have, you now need to deal with note below which you have received today, 30 June 2000, from finance manager. So I receive a note from my finance manager, and his name is Paul. So Paul Page. So what is the note? I am concerned that the balance of 1746 owing from a Copal Limited, a credit customer, is overdue for the payment. The amount outstanding relates to the invoice number 328 dated 12 of March 2010. Please prepare a letter for Copar, Mr. Copar at Copar Limited, ready for my signature, explaining the situation and asking him to contact me if there are any issue or to make the payment. Thanks, Paul. So basically, one of my boss, my finance manager, Paul, he sent me an email and said like, oh, we have a customer. His name is Copar, and he is not paying. His balance is outstanding is more than enough. So can you send a letter to him and said like, his balance is outstanding. So if there any issue, contact with me, like if he cannot pay or if he don't have the money, otherwise can you make the payment. So I'm the junior person, so my finance manager, he asked me to prepare a letter so that I can send it to Mr. Cooper. So how I'm going to prepare that? So it says, prepare an appropriate business letter to Copal Limited, making sure you include all the relevant information. So this information has to be there. So this is our company, our detail, our email address, everything. Then the customer information, Mr. Cooper, and their address. What I'm going to write, we're going to see it here. So let's have a look. This is for how many marks this question? This is for 16 marks it was. So let's say it will give us 5 marks for this question. So let's write it down what I'm going to write. So first thing I'm going to write, that is, dear Mr. Cooper. I'm going to write dear Mr. Cooper. Okay. And we're going to write the subject. The subject is overdue account. Overdue account. So this is the subject. Then after that, I'm going to write what was the issue. So I'm going to write, it has come to my attention that your balance is overdue for payment. First, I'll write why I'm writing. So first, I need to tell him like, oh, I'm writing the reason because it's come to my attention because your balance is overdue. The next thing I'm going to tell him, how much is the overdue from which date? So I've said the outstanding balance amount of 1746 is very important. He need to write down, know the amount, how much, and that relates to the invoice, and that relate to the invoice. I need to write the invoice number because he can check himself as well. Invoice number 328, dated 12 March 2000. So the information is now clear. Then after that, I will tell him, if there are any question, please contact to me. So if there any queries, please contact me, or you can say you can make the payment otherwise. So otherwise, I'm looking for what? The payment by return. So otherwise, make the payment in return. And after that, I'm going to write the name, Paul, and the finance manager. That's how we can write the letter, and that will give us some marks because we need to know how to reply with the email and if that balance is due from the customer. So this is all basically have to do like if this type of question come in the exam for your synoptic paper.